Hey, how are you? It is Thursday, 3rd of June 2021, and today in episode 104, is he ever going to run out of things to talk about? Is he going to run out of opinions? Probably not. Sorry, guys. Today I'm going to be talking about The Cure's seventh album, which was released, I think, on the 25th of May 1987. And were I more cynical, I probably should have timed it to come out on the 40, a long time ago anniversary of the release of this album by The Cure, Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me. Today I'm going to talk about the album, the tour, the live shows, tons of other stuff that goes with it. I'm going to try and do it all in 42 and a half minutes. So, first thing I'm going to tell you is about a Japanese executive who worked for Sony. And I can't remember his name, although I did look it up a couple of minutes ago, who decided that the compact disc, the format of choice that took over the 80s, dominated the 90s, and slowly became redundant until today they're just shiny, smaller silver versions of vinyl. Decided that since the length of the 8th Symphony, or Ninth Symphony, was 74 minutes, there is no possible or conceivable reason why you would possibly want to have a CD that runs longer than 74 minutes. Conveniently forgetting, of course, that Pink Floyd's The Wall lasts for about 88 minutes, although it feels like it lasts for 88 years, and The Cure's album, Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me, which hadn't yet been invented, comes to just over 74 minutes. So all the CD releases of The Cure's Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me, up until 2006, were missing one song, Hey You, chosen because it was the shortest song on the album, apart from Catch. And taking Catch off the album, considering it was the second single, was widely deemed to be a not very good idea at all. So we have to pick up the story for The Cure with the release 1 month after the release of The Cure in Orange at the cinemas, 1 month after with the release of Why Can't I Be You, the first single from, I think, the seventh album. Why Can't I Be You, like a lot of other Cure singles during the period when Boris was on drums, was opened actually by a short, very memorable drum pattern that isn't repeated at any other point in the song. This happens for In Between Days, happens for Catch, happens for Why Can't I Be You. I think it happens for Just Like Heaven as well. Is that there's a short drum pattern, there's a little fill, and then you're into the body of the song. And it's a memorable drum pattern, but also it's never repeated throughout the rest of it. It appears occasionally In Between Days. It's repeated a couple of times there. But for example, if you think about Primary by The Cure, that starts off with a descending guitar riff that doesn't appear in the rest of the song either. So it's a trick which the band have been using for a long period of time. Lots of people will probably now tell me that Boris was a great drummer and Jason is absolutely shit. This is not the place for that discussion, and it's never the place for that discussion. Why Can't I Be You is a great, funny, silly pop song, and it took me until relatively recently. I was looking at it, just going, it's just a random bunch of stuff on the front, and then I've looked at it and I'm like, it looks like it might be a cat's face, actually. And the reason I mention why it looks like it might be a cat's face is that there's a huge visual element to the band around this period. Is that phonetically, Why Can't I Be You was represented in the sleeve to the 7-inch. The double pack 7-inch. So the double pack 7-inch, bearing in mind it's a very long time since I've opened this, so I have to take the sticker off very, very carefully because this is now a 34-year-old sticker, and it's still sticky, which means it still does its job. So the band in the video were dressed like that. Obviously, Simon as what looks to be some kind of duck penguin Count Duckula kind of situation. Robert as a bear, Pearl as a safari hunter, Boris as Count Dracula, and Lol as a bee. And by the way, at the beginning of the video for this, Lol opens a huge pair of lips and kind of peers out exactly as Robert Smith sings Can't. I'm going to have to use a very, very rude here. There is a rude word that starts with C that is occasionally used as a very vulgar word for the female genitalia that looks oddly like a pair of lips. And also, I don't think Lowell was the most popular member of the group, so they decided to perhaps have a dig at him by using that word with his face and peering out through a pair of lips. Very bitchy, to be honest. And we have to address, at some point, Lowell's diminished contribution to the group over time. So at this point, the Cure were a 5-piece. They had been recording in France, and the first fruits from the album was this very single, Why Can't I Be You? 7-inch mixes on both the 7-inch and the 12-inch mixes, extended versions of Why Can't I Be You and the B-side, A Japanese Dream, are on the 12-inch. And for a long time, it was very difficult to get hold of the 12-inch mix of Why Can't I Be You on CD. I think that might have been corrected a couple of years ago with the release of Mixed Up as a 3-disc set. Also on the single, by the way, as I said, it was backed with a Japanese Dream, which was played live on almost every show, if not every show, of the tour that accompanied the album. And there were also, on the double pack 7-inch, there were 2 live songs which were taken from the soundtrack to The Cure in Orange, being 6 Different Ways and Push. Yeah, I mean, obviously I wish that the soundtrack to The Cure in Orange and The Cure in Orange itself had been released on DVD and the soundtrack had been on CD, but since that didn't happen, if I wanted to hear versions of the songs from The Cure in Orange and not put my VHS tape on or my bootleg CD, I had to go and buy this 7-inch single to hear a couple of the tracks. Now, this is about the time where I started to become a fan of The Cure. As I've mentioned in a previous episode, The Cure in Orange was shown on British television in around about March 1988 or thereabouts, repeated a number of times, and I recorded it on BBC TV, so I recorded the first hour of the concert, and that pretty much blew my tiny fragile eggshell mind as a 13 or 14-year-old in suburban Birmingham in England. You know, the idea that there was this world, and you know, listening to music like The Cure, Depeche Mode, New Order, The Smiths, it kind of made me feel, because obviously before the internet, there was very little in the way of communication with other people. You know, the people that you knew were people that you met, people that you spoke to, people whose phone numbers you got, people that you saw at the pub, faces you recognised at gigs that you spoke to or nodded at and then got their name completely wrong. That's Alistair. Oh, I thought it was Alan. You know, those type of situations. And you know, the idea that there were other people that were out there that felt like you, or had the same opinions as you, or like the same music, or experienced life in the same way. It was a very isolating existence before the internet, because it was very difficult to meet like-minded people. You know, we identified ourselves by wearing Cure t-shirts when we went out of the house, and there is that cliche that, you know, you can't not be friends. We're all friends if we like the same band. Not strictly true, but most of the time it's true. So I'd wear like Cure t-shirts, Depeche Mode t-shirts, because I figure if I saw somebody else that was wearing a Depeche Mode t-shirt or a Cure t-shirt, that person might be a friend. And at school, I felt very much like a square peg in a round hole, or a nail that was sticking up. It felt quite lonely, because the people that were in my school around me, a lot of them liked things I didn't like football and Simply Red, and you know, shit hair metal. I mean, I like some shit hair metal, but not the kind of shit hair metal that other people like. So, you know, some of the weird kids at school were listening to Motley Crue, and I was listening to The Cure, and so I was like, I don't think Girls, Girls, Girls speaks to me the same way that Panic by the Smiths does. You know, Girls, Girls, Girls by Motley Crue says nothing to me about my life at all. And so there was that sense of community amongst strangers when you know, we're friends because we like the same band. And that's pretty much how I pick my friends now, and I think it's a good choice. Apart from John, who likes Nickelback, but is a lovely person, and I'm sure the stuff I listen to he thinks is absolute garbage. But the world is a big place, and it's all part of life's rich pageants, as Inspector Clouseau would have it. So following on from the release of Why Can't I Be You came The Cure's album Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me. And the formatting really kicked off in earnest here. So, you know, there were lots of coloured vinyl So there was like I think a clear vinyl version of Catch. There's a picture disc of Just Like Heaven. There's a double 7-inch of Why Can't I Be You. There's not even a 7-inch at all of Hot Hot Hot. But there were a number of versions of Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me, and I bought the biggest and best version that I could get. So this is the original double vinyl from 1987, still in its shrink wrap with a special exclusive sticker and another sticker on top of the shrink wrap, which tells us that it contains bonus orange vinyl disc. So it's 3 records, including 3 top 30 singles, Why Can't I Be You, Catch, and Just Like Heaven, and an orange vinyl 12-inch that plays at 45, which I've separated. Here it is, that contains 6 bonus tracks. We'll talk about the album. It was the first Cure double studio album, although it fit on one CD just with a 74-minute standard by taking out Hey You, which made the CD 17 tracks and the vinyl and the cassette 18 tracks. So of course I bought the vinyl, which now means that now that vinyl is in and cool and hip, that I look like in some way prescient. But these records aren't investments; they're machines for making me feel amazing, and they generally tend to do the job. I've always thought that Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me sits in a triptych, if that's such a word, alongside 2 other Cure albums, being Wish and Wild Mood Swings. Both were released as double vinyl as well. Both are about 66, 70 minutes long, so not far off the same length. And they're albums that contain, I think, both sides of the Cure. So there's the light pop side of the Cure, as evidenced in the singles. There's obviously the dark and gloomy side, which all of us really, really enjoy. And sometimes they play shows that are nothing but the dark and gloomy songs, and we go, oh, that's amazing. They played Cold, and stuff like that. But both sides of the Cure were in this album, so it's a really kind of schizophrenic album. It doesn't have a unique or perhaps specific singular identity. If you listen to The Head on the Door, that has a singular identity. You can tell it's all made by the same people and the same band. Disintegration, same people, same band. Wish, very similar actually, because Wish is quite heavy on guitars. But Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me, it feels like it's a compilation album made by about 3 different bands at the same time. So you've got these heavy, dense, big guitar rock wig outs like The Kiss, Shiver and Shake, things like that. And you've got these big, doom, gloom-laden songs like If Only Tonight We Could Sleep, like Cockatoos. And then on the other side, you've got like very airy, very... not optimistic, but a bright kind of pop. And in the way that, you can't know joy without knowing sadness. You can't know love without knowing the opposite of love. What it is, it creates a rounded and overall picture of everything. So there's sadness, there's happiness, there's a whole gamut of human emotions in this album. Even in one song, Boredom, which, by the way, is actually, I think it's a Buzzcock song. So it opens with The Kiss, which is a 6-minute guitar rock wig out with a huge amount of fuzzy guitar from Robert and Pearl. The second song, complete flip side to that, is this light, fluffy, airy, kind of half-drunk, whimsical nursery rhyme called Catch. And it's just a lovely, silly song. Then we've got Torture, which is one of the more guitar-based tracks, and you can clearly tell by the title that ain't a bundle of laughs as a song. And then If Only Tonight We Could Sleep, which is probably one of my least favourite Cure songs actually. So this album contains 2 of my least favourite Cure songs, which is If Only Tonight We Could Sleep and Like Cockatoos. And the reason that I say they're my least favourite Cure songs is because those songs are quite one-dimensional in terms of sound, in terms of approach, in terms of mood. And they're quite repetitive, so there's a lot of repetition. So normally inside a song, if you repeat a section, there's a variation that sits within it. And one of the great things about having a variation in between various parts of a song is if you listen to something like the Chemical Brothers, if you listen to Rares by the Underworld, each song or each segment, even though it's a repeat of a previous segment, is slightly different, and you listen very, very closely to the song and you hear the differences between the 2 parts, and you go, oh, so you've done that bit now, or you've gone through that preset, or you've amplified the bass, or you've distorted something. Whereas If Only Tonight We Could Sleep and Like Cockatoos are almost exercises in repetition, which probably partially influenced the post-rock genre, but were obviously also, gloomy as fuck. And when you're 14 years old and you think that only Robert Smith and the Smiths understand you, a miserable, sad song makes you feel much, much better about the world on 2 counts. The first one being, you sit there and you go, my God, I'm not the only miserable bastard on the face of the earth. And the second one is that kind of sense of going, okay, so feeling really bloody miserable and sad is actually quite a universal human condition. Which at the time, it wasn't that there wasn't that dialogue between people. So the things that you read in books, magazines, newspapers, they were cleared by editors and sub-editors with an idea around, well, how many of these will we sell? There was no self-run Twitter accounts or blogs or anything where people talked about their own feelings and how they struggled with certain things. Everything had to be approved through a set of gatekeepers. And the democracy of speech and feeling, which was allowed by the early days of the internet, is something I'm a little bit nostalgic for, actually. But certainly listening to a song like If Only Tonight We Could Sleep, although I don't get very much out of that song, I also felt, yes, it's not just me who feels a certain way. And that ties in with the Kurt Cobain lyric about the comfort of being sad, is that, these albums made me feel less alone, less weird, and more that there was a place for me on this planet, and I just haven't managed to find exactly where that place was yet. So, with all that, and going into Sue's Corner on it, you flip it over to side 2 of the album. This is the back, by the way. Flip it over to side 2, which is Why Can't I Be You, How Beautiful You Are, Snake Pit, and Hey You. And Why Can't I Be You, we discussed. Lovely, simple, gentle, silly pop song. How Beautiful You Are is, I think, inspired by literature. I can't remember the name of the book. It's a French book, of course. In fact, let's look on the lyric sheet and see if Robert gives a credit as to who it is. No, he doesn't. Okay. And then we've got the Snake Pit, which is again a very repetitive song, like If Only Tonight We Could Sleep and like Cockatoos. Dark, dense, gloomy song. Ideal for if you're at a gig and you want to go to the loo. Actually, I'm going to bitch about it. I went to the Royal Festival Hall show in 2018 and they were playing If Only Tonight We Could Sleep, and some guy was looking up lasagna recipes. I've mentioned this before. Lasagna is awesome, but if the Cure are playing in front of you, don't look up lasagna recipes. Experience the fact that you're seeing the Cure play one of their smallest shows in 40 years. And then the last song on the album, or more correct, the last song on side 2 is Hey You, which the band rarely play live. I think the last time they played it live was when they closed 3 shows in late December 2014, because it's got a lyric in it about Hey You, the one that looks like Christmas, come over here and kiss me, kiss me, kiss me. And so playing the song on the 21st, 22nd, and 23rd of December completely ties in with the ethos of looking just like Christmas. And Robert Smith is a huge fan of Christmas, by the way. So flipping over onto, vinyl record number 2, it opens with Just Like Heaven. And Just Like Heaven is, if you don't know Just Like Heaven, I mean, like, dude, have you been paying any attention to the outside world for the past 17 years? Because it's like the Cure's biggest song, although it wasn't actually a huge hit when it came out. It probably only made about number 22 or something. It's a song that the band have played regularly at near enough every show since it was written. It's a song that gets everybody dancing and singing, and it's what we came here for, is to hear them do Just Like Heaven. I know some people really, really hate the poppy stuff by The Cure, but I think you've got to have both sides to the band in order to really get the full picture. And Just Like Heaven was apparently inspired by a dream that Robert Smith had about being, I think, at Beachy Head with his wife Mary, who wasn't his wife at the time that this was written, and waking up from the dream and trying to write down the feeling that dream evoked within him. The next song on it is All I Want. I was listening to this and I go, my God, this band can really do things. Now that sounds very, very flippant, but I think Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me was the first studio album, apart from Standing on the Beach, that I heard by the band, and I'd like to thank Birmingham Library for expanding my musical horizons. And then there's Hot, 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 which is a song that nobody believes is a Cure song, actually. I remember I had to do one of those things where you do family games and you get drunk and you start quoting songs. I had to do one about the weather, and so I tried to sing in a Robert Smith voice, hot, 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 and everyone thought I was making it up. And I had to get my cassette tape of it out and go, look, there's a song called Hot, Hot, Hot by The Cure on Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me. Obviously, there's another song called Hot, 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 which has a similar kind of theme. Although, of course, if you're going to do a music quiz and you're going to name songs named after women, or men, or the weather or something, for example, I'm pretty much sure I'm going to be the only person who's going to be able to quote the German section from Marianne by the Sisters of Mercy. Everyone else is going to be sat there going, dude, you could have picked Hot Chocolate's Emma. Which, by the way, I did. But I thought it was the Sisters of Mercy's Emma, not Hot Chocolate's Emma. So we've got Hot Hot Hot, which wasn't released as a 7-inch, it was released as a 12-inch and as a CD single, not as a 7-inch. And then there's One More Time and Like Cockatoos. And One More Time is just this lovely, sweet little song that's got this kind of, it feels like it's got the same kind of, it's like trying to bottle clouds or to kind of like paint candy floss. It's really, really difficult and captures this kind of fleeting moment of almost whimsical joy. But at the same point, the lyric is all around hold me up so high to touch the sky just one more time. And kind of like saying, well, that moment was amazing, but it's already disappeared. And then there's Like Cockatoos, which I've said about already. Side 4 of the album is Icing Sugar, The Perfect Girl, 1,000 Hours, Shiver and Shake, and Fight. The Perfect Girl could have been a single. It's got the same kind of windswept mystical air that Catch has. Icing Sugar is a weird song. It doesn't sound like The Cure, although clearly, if people put bands into boxes and they say The Cure only do this, The Cure do, big hair, black t-shirts, gloomy love songs, and then, you listen to something like Icing Sugar or 1,000 Hours, which is 1,000 Hours is near enough a partner to One More Time, or Shiver and Shake and Fight, and then you kind of go, yeah, it's clearly the same band, but it's different parts of the same band. And Shiver and Shake was written or inspired by LOL, which I'll talk about in a minute. But the lyric is really vitriolic, and I saw The Cure play the Shiver and Shake in 1993 when I saw Boris's last show at Finsbury Park, which was tied to The Great Expectations, XFM, and also around about the time that LOL went legal and took the band to court, which of course I will talk about in future episodes. So Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me is a great album. It can't make up its mind as to what the hell it is, though. It's got all the moods under the sun, full of wild mood swings, and as I said before, it reminds me of Wish, Wild Mood Swings, and this are albums made out of weird, huge leaps in character and style. Now, there was a limited edition of Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me, that had a shrink-wrapped 12-inch single, an orange vinyl 6-track 45 RPM release. There it is, The Cure's Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me. Naturally, I bought this, and when I bought it, it was still in its shrink-wrap, hence why I've still got it. But it was about, I don't know, £6. Now, there was a time when everyone was getting rid of their vinyl and buying new shiny CDs. And at that point I thought it's cheaper for me to keep a record player and buy a lot of cheap records than it is for me to buy CDs. And that's why I've got a lot of original vinyl from times before I actually liked the band. So, I bought this, I think, with Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me, I think it was £6 in 1990, early 1990. I've been living off a cassette copy before then. And it was a good £6. I've definitely had my £6 worth out of this. Now, the orange vinyl 12-inch came out after the release of Just Like Heaven. And it's backed with, it's got A Japanese Dream, Breathe, and A Chain of Flowers. And on the B-side, it's got Sugar Girl, Snow in Summer, and Icing Sugar, a remix of Icing Sugar that you could only get on this 12-inch. Bloody hard to get, actually. And for a long period of time, those songs weren't available on CD at all. So there was that. Also, I think we had the second single came out from the album, and here is the 12-inch of Catch. There are two 12 inches of Catch, by the way, and because well, come on, you know me, I've got both of them, haven't I? Here's the first 12-inch, which is backed with A Chain of Flowers and Breathe on the first 12-inch. Again, the art is by Parched Art, which I think is Pearl's particular art company, alongside, I think, Andy Vella. And this lovely graphic became the cover of, I think, the clear vinyl 7-inch as well. Of course, I haven't got the clear vinyl 7-inch. I have your standard black vinyl there, which is just the same but smaller. I haven't got the clear vinyl because it's something like £40 second hand, and making a decision between buying a Cure 7-inch I already had and Cure songs I already had for £4, or buying a pint on a Saturday night in the barrel organ. Frankly, the pint won, and I have no regrets about that. There was a second 12-inch to catch, which was backed with Breathe and live versions of Kyoto Song and A Night Like This from The Cure in Orange, which again probably came out a week later to make sure the song stayed in the charts. When you had releases like this, by the way, all the band's fans would buy it in the first week. Then the song would go in at number, 22. Then its next chart position would be number 52. And then it would disappear out to about number 114 or something, and it'd never be seen again. So bands got used to doing formatting by putting out a second release the week later to keep the song in the charts for a second week. It was cynical, but it was true. And by the way, I'll also point out that Depeche Mode's Enjoy the Silence had 3 releases over 3 different weeks. For the first week, you couldn't actually get the 7-inch mix of Enjoy the Silence on vinyl. You could only get it on a cassette single and a CD, because the 12-inch, the blue 12-inch with the 12-inch mixes, was the only vinyl version that came out, which means the first time I heard Enjoy the Silence, it was the 12-inch mixes. I had to kind of imagine what the 7-inch mix would sound like until the 7-inch came out a week later. Yeah, I bet you're all excited by that. Third single from the album, and the first of the Cure CD singles that I have, Just Like Heaven. Obviously, I've mentioned this song before. It's a perennial classic. It's probably one of the best songs ever written, and it's just a gorgeous song. The release, as you can see, is somewhat minimal in terms of cover art. The 7-inch is hard to get. The picture disc 7-inch is even harder to get. And as I've said before, pints won when I was 14 years old and I was buying these. And this copy I bought, and it was this version was held together by sellotape when I bought it. I think it was like £1.75 or something equally cheap at the time. But it's obviously, I've got more than £1.75 worth of play out of it over the years, and it's got a remix of Just Like Heaven, remixed by Bob Clearmountain. How Beautiful You Are was also remixed as a potential single, but that wasn't released. And then the B-sides were produced by Robert Smith and Dave Allen, and they were remixed by Robert Smith and S. Spencer, whoever he is. So Snow in Summer and Sugar Girl aren't the original mixes, they were remixed later on. But great songs, absolutely great songs, and I think Sugar Girl probably should be on the album. Now, around about this time, a couple of other weird releases happened. The first one was that there was a 4-track 7-inch of Close to Me that was released in Germany. And the reason that I know it was released 2 years after the fact, in fact, according to this, it looks like it might have been released in January 1988, because it's got a new lineup of The Cure that didn't record the songs on here. So this is the 4 songs of the 10-inch of Close to Me from 1985, pressed onto a very, very quiet 7-inch. That I think it runs at 33 RPM. Actually, let's find out, shall we? I might have shown you this one before, I might not have done. I have no memory of such things. No, it runs at 45. Well, that's brave, but obviously it makes it quieter. And it's got Close to Me, the remix of it, alongside Stop Dead, and Man Inside My Mouth, and New Day from the 10-inch. And what you can see there is that The Cure are now 6 people. So Simon, Boris, Robert, Pearl, a keyboard player called Roger O'Donnell, and Lol Tolhurst. And Roger had been brought into the band to play keyboards, to help and assist the more complex parts that the band couldn't play. Normally Pearl would have picked up playing keyboards as well, but he was playing a lot more guitar on this particular tour, and Lol's musical contribution to the group had started to diminish. In his book Cured, Lol's fairly clear about the fact that he was becoming an alcoholic. His musical contribution to the group had diminished. He was bringing less songs into the songwriting sessions. he's also, at the time, not the best keyboard player in the world. And the band needed a second keyboard player to beef out the sound, and in some ways to compensate for the fact that Lowell just wasn't very good at the time. Now, I'm very sympathetic to Lowell. You know, you can start a band with your school friends, and then the band become absolutely huge, and everybody obsesses on your mate who's the singer, and then your ego starts to take a hit, and you start to drink a little bit more, and then all of a sudden you're an alcoholic and you can't really play keyboards anymore. A really tough place to be, I imagine. You know, I have sympathy for everybody that was involved in it. The band did the right thing by bringing Roger in on keyboards. So the next thing that came out was this unusual sampler CD, actually, although I'm jumping ahead a little. This was released in 1989, so I'm going to mention that later, I've decided. The band went on tour, and they played a thing called the Kissing Tour, which lasted for about 6 months. This is a bootleg CD of an audience recording of the show in Brussels in 1987, which has almost every song from Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me on it, alongside an encore of Close to Bed, Let's Go to Bed, One More Time, Charlotte Sometimes, and Why Can't I Be You. And it is clearly a CD of a vinyl rip of a double vinyl LP. It runs about 45 minutes each disc, maybe 90 minutes in total. Very clearly, the band were playing longer sets than that, but they were really, really committed to playing almost all of the new album. So 1, 2, 3. Maybe 16 songs from Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me and the associated B-sides are on this CD. That's a lot of material to be playing, a lot of new material to be playing on your tour. So the band are clearly committed to presenting almost all of the Kiss Me album live at the shows. It's a pretty cruddy recording, but there are no official releases from the tour, apart from 5 or 6 live tracks that are on this 2006 reissue of Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me. This is the first time, by the way, that Kiss Me on CD had Hey You as part of the track listing, because the dominant format CD had moved from a 74-minute standard, which was being implemented up until around about late 1987, to an 80-minute standard, and then there was space to include Hey You on the CD of the album. The second CD on the reissue of Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me, it has about 7, 8, 9, has about 10 demos in the studio. It has about 3 or 4 alternate studio mixes which haven't previously been issued, and about 6 live tracks from the tour, recorded as a 6-piece with Roger on keyboards. Roger appeared in the videos, by the way, for Just Like Heaven and Hot Hot Hot, but didn't play on the studio recordings for them. But effectively was a full-time permanent member of the band from a certain point in the Kissing tour. If you're going to buy Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me on CD, if you want to give everything, you have to go for the double CD version, which is remastered and reissued in 2006. The last single from the album was Hot Hot Hot. Here is the 12-inch with what appears to be pictures of fishes on the front. Has an extended mix of Hot 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 by Francis Kavakian and Ron St. Germain at Right Track in New York. Francis Kavakian was well known as a remixer of bands like Kraftwerk at that point, and also on the B side of it was effectively the 7-inch version of Hot Hot Hot, even though there wasn't a 7-inch, and the extended remix of Hey You, which I think was put as one of the B-sides so that Hey You could finally get a CD release on the CD single of Hot Hot Hot. And here is the original card sleeve 1988 CD single of it. I really hope it isn't manufactured by PDO. Oh no, it's made in Germany by PDO, not by those wankers in Preston. And also, by the way, there's a promotional postcard there for the 10 Imaginary Years book, which you could send a check or PO, made available to Zomba Books for £8.95 for the Cure book, and it gives you 14 days for delivery. I suspect if you sent a check to Zomba Books now, I'm not even sure if Zomba Books exist, but I suspect they wouldn't even be able to cash checks. I think I last wrote a check in 2011, I think. So I can't remember the last time I paid for anything which wasn't either by card or by cash. Actually, and paying for things by cash in the middle of COVID is pretty weird and strange. So the band went on tour. They did the Kissing tour. Here is a tour program for the Kissing tour. I did not see the band on the Kissing tour. As I mentioned in a previous episode, I bought this probably around about the same time I bought the Head on the Door tour program from a second-hand bookshop in Birmingham for probably bugger all money, maybe £1 or so, I'm not sure. And there's the first published photo of the Cure as a six-piece with someone that looks suspiciously like Andrew Eldritch in the corner, although Andrew Aldrich will tell you he most definitely is not goth at all. And then there's pictures of the band from what looks like the Just Like Heaven video shoots, March 1987 summary, the usual thing where they ask the band their favourite members of everything. So, for example, what's your favourite day? Sunday. And what's your nightmare? Waking up as somebody else. Rosa Roberts answers, Simon, who had his birthday this week. Happy 60th birthday. No, 61st. His nightmare is never having happy dreams. Pearl's nightmare is falling and never getting home. There's a list of production credits here, the crew, and so on, all in the Parched Art handwriting, alongside the members of the group. Roger getting ever closer to the centre with each passing photo. Boris here, by the way, that's an out of focus picture of Boris. He doesn't normally look like that. His nightmare is being chased. Lol's nightmare is yesterday, and Roger's nightmare is tonight, although his favourite day is Friday. So possibly being able to read the runes for the future for Friday I'm in Love, which of course Roger didn't play on. There was a discography in there alongside some photographs. Oh, so young. And then we've got some more photographs. And the competition. Now this time round, the competition is the most delicious or disgusting, dreamy, yummy or yuck mouth wins. And the competition winners get whatever they ask for. So I genuinely don't know who won these competitions or what they asked for. The last time round, I think it was being sent an exclusive Cure cassette of the band performing a song of their choice, whatever song that was going to be. This one, whatever they asked for. So I'm not quite sure if they asked for the moon on a stick or whether they were just sent a bundle of leftover t-shirts at the end of the tour. So this was sold on the European tour. The tour came to an end with 2 shows at London's Wembley Arena, a cavernous shithole, but maybe not as bad as the original Birmingham NEC. And those were the last shows that Lol played with the group until 2011. And finally, the last thing that came out from around about this period was this compilation CD called Stranger Than Fiction, which was released in very early 1989 as a promotional Fiction Records release. Now it contains a previously unreleased song from the Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me sessions. That song is called To The Sky. It's a beautiful, lovely song. It became very heavily bootlegged, and then it later turned up on the Join the Dots compilation. This promotional CD features ostensibly one song by every band that's signed to Fiction Records, but those bands include Cult Hero, which are all the members of The Cure in 1980 plus Frank the Postman, doing I Dig You, wonderful song, and it also featured Tim Pope doing I Want To Be A Tree, which again, oddly enough, is The Cure and his backing band. Features The Associates doing Janice, Fat Man by Eat, and Die Warsaw's Shakedown. So at some points this was selling for over £100. I paid a lot less than that, probably about £9.99, which, by the way, in 1993 was still an enormous amount of money to me. I was a student, I wasn't earning at all. So I invested my money in records and pints. But that's a rarity. I don't know how many of these there are. But the track of interest to everyone is To The Sky, which is, by the way, now on the Join the Dots compilation. Sorry, that was a pile of CDs falling over. So that brings the Cure's Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me album to a close. Hopefully that's not been too tedious. If it is, you can always run and skip all the way through it and get right to the end. And you look at the various kind of poses as you scrub through and go, that type of stuff. But no, that's that really. The only other thing I will say, two things. One, YouTube has changed its terms of service. If it introduces adverts at any point during any of my conversations, rest assured, I have had no sale control in the matter, and I don't necessarily know where it's going to put the adverts. So the adverts are not my choice. The second one is just generally about the comments. Obviously, don't be a dick and stay beautiful. The third thing I am going to say is, although you may not know it, I do some creative writing. I am considering delivering those through this YouTube channel. I swear it is better than Vogue on Poetry. And if you have a particularly strong feeling about it one way or another, put something in the comments. I am going to wrap up here because it is late. It is incredibly warm, although part of me thinks it is about time it was incredibly warm. And the next time I do something like this, I have no idea what I'm going to be talking about. But you've probably worked out it's going to be a band from the 80s. Actually, it might not be. Who knows? I might go totally off the chain and start talking about Stanley Kubrick films instead. I know you're all waiting with bated breath. Well, you're probably not. Anyway, thank you for 41 minutes of your time and attention. It's been a pleasure. I am now going to follow David Shrigley's instructions from Monorail Music. I'm going to drink the music, see what it tastes like. Tastes lightningy. And so therefore, look after yourselves, and I will see you all some other time soon. Thank you, stay beautiful, and be lovely. Bye.